Welcome, and thank you for clicking on this video, for playing this audio, for tuning in against No Table Talk. Ah, what am I talking about today? My sister wants me to talk about how much I love her. So, yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding. I love my sister very much, man. Abisola. Congratulations to her and her fiance. They got engaged? No, not engaged. They did their introduction yesterday. Their traditional introduction. It was nice. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there physically, painfully, but I guess that's life. But I watched it. I watched it. I was able to stream it and partake in whatever way I could. And it was very, very nice to see, man. Everybody was looking so nice. My sister looked beautiful. Sam looked nice. Oh, my mom, my dad. Everybody looked good, man. All the dresses, the attire, they were nice. The setup, nice. Yeah, I was reminded how much my family is allergic to disappointments. Affluence at its peak. It was nice to watch. I try to tell myself not to talk about how my father was crying so that I don't embarrass him, and how my mother had to console him for the most part. But I won't say anything about that. But it was nice, man. I wonder what he would do when he's walking my sister down the aisle. Yo, the father daughter dance is about to be a train wreck. if it goes according to what I imagine. But yeah, congratulations to them, man. It was nice. It's very interesting watching your baby sister. I mean, I guess not so much of a baby, but it's very interesting watching your sibling, and then in addition your younger sibling, and then in addition your younger sister, in the process of getting married. Huh. Interesting stuff, man. Well, yeah, congratulations to them. And I love my sister very much. Very, very much. And I will probably love her more tomorrow. So, Abisola, hope I've answered your question. So today I was thinking about what to talk about, and I was going through the comments. And, I decided to talk about procrastination. Um, I was looking up stuff on procrastination. I looked up the definition being the unnecessary postponement of a decision or an action. Keyword unnecessary. And I was looking up reasons why people procrastinate. I'm gonna just read out some of the things I found. Reasons why people procrastinate. All right, I'll just run through the list real quick. Abstract goals, outcomes that are far in the future, a disconnect from our future self, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, task aversion, perfectionism, fear, that is fear of failure, stuff like that, or negative feedback, perceived lack of control, ADHD, depression, lack of motivation, lack of energy, sensation seeking. And keep in mind, this list that I have here that I just spelled out, it's really just the tip of the iceberg of the many, many, many reasons that I came across why people could procrastinate. And honestly, I was tired. It was a very, very tiring list. It was a very tiring list to go through. And even looking up and thinking about the different things pertaining to each of these things, of the things on this list, oh my God. Especially because the things on this list, they vary from how detrimental they could be. And they also vary in level of seriousness. But yeah, it was very tiring, man. It was very tiring. I feel like the one thing that was apparent in that list, or on that list, or in going through that list, was that people procrastinate for many reasons. People procrastinate for various reasons, particular to each individual. And for some of us who have struggled with procrastination, or who are going through it right now, we may or may not know the reasons why we procrastinate. We may have multiple reasons. That list I read, we could check off like 3, 4 things that could relate to us on why we procrastinate. And I was thinking about that, and it just really occurred to me that it all boils down to self awareness. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, especially with an issue like this, with procrastination, at the end of the day, no one can help you except yourself. Even if you may be in such a dire situation, again, depending on what may be on that list that relates to you. Because I can understand, I mean, talking about certain things like depression and ADHD and anxiety, depending on the level of anxiety. Some of us may need help. Some of us may not be able to do it on our own. Some of us may need someone to talk to. Some of us may need someone to even some of it may even need to be medically diagnosed, like ADHD, which in itself has different levels, which in itself is a spectrum. But at the end of the day, even that has to come from yourself. Even that has come from a level of self-awareness where you have to do some introspection and own your own truth and recognize that there may be a problem that leads to procrastination, whatever it may be. Because procrastination at the end of the day, it's usually a symptom of a deeper cause or a deeper root. And self-awareness is very, very necessary in order to start to even narrow down what that could be. And like I was saying before, even though some of us may need help, at the end of the day, even you need to realize that you need help. Even you need to search within yourself and be like, okay, you may never be able to put a finger on what exactly it is, but you would be able to know that something is wrong. You'd be able to, I mean, everybody, the same way everybody recognizes what is good, and in essence can recognize what is bad. In the same way, I would expect a regular functioning human to be able to recognize what is optimal and what isn't, and to be able to recognize whether when you're performing optimally and when you're not. And then in doing a lot of soul searching and in assessing oneself, one should be able to be like, I feel this way, or I'm inclined to approach certain things in this manner, and I recognize that this isn't optimal behavior. So even if you can't put your finger on what exactly it is, you being able to recognize that something is wrong. Okay, for instance, you could get hurt, you could get sick. You may not know what exactly the sickness is, but you could recognize symptoms of the sickness. Let's say COVID, for example. You could start to cough, have a sore throat, start to feel feverish. And that could also be symptoms for a lot of things, COVID included. By the end of the day, what would be the prudent thing to do? Would be then to go to the hospital based on the symptoms you've seen, recognizing that, okay, I need medical attention, professional medical attention. So that's just me using that as an example for people that could need extra help. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to yourself. It all has to start from yourself. At the end of the day, even if you need help, you would have to seek that help. You would have to point out that you actually need the help by you recognizing that you need the help. I mean, yeah, except other people could see it and recognize it and then maybe be in the position to step in or have an intervention and corner you. But nobody owes you that, really. It's really your responsibility. So it really all starts from within. So that's really the first thing that came to my mind. Promoting self-awareness and recognizing that something is wrong. Because having pointed out that procrastination is a symptom of some possibly deeper rooted issues, those deeper rooted issues need to be addressed. And from the list I just read, even though that's just scratching the surface, you could see how it ranges from different levels of intensity, for lack of a better word. Some may need some people could check off certain things on this list and be able to sort it out on themselves and just be able to pick up on that self-control and and find their motivation again, or find their energy again, or surround themselves with the things that give them energy, or just become more serious in their approach to things. You get what I'm saying? But some people could need a helping hand. You feel me? But like I said before, it all boils down to self-awareness. That's where it all has to start from, I think. That's where it all has to start from, man. And one thing that will continually persist in this life, speaking of procrastination, is seed time and harvest. Is sowing and reaping. You have to put in something to get something out. Especially as someone who has struggled with procrastination myself, I realize how easy it is to procrastinate. I can literally procrastinate. Procrastination literally takes zero energy and zero effort. I can procrastinate on my next word right now. That actually felt good. Pretty convenient not to say a word. The same way it could be pretty convenient not to do anything. Especially when you have allowed yourself give valid reasons why you may not have to do the things you have to do. Because even going down this list, I'm just, let's say something like anxiety. Anxiety leading to procrastination being that being anxious of what you know you're supposed to do leads you to not do that thing that you're supposed to do. I'm gonna give an example using something very, very trivial that most people may be able to relate to. Checking your bank accounts. Knowing the details, the particulars of your financial situation. Opening that bank app can be very, very daunting. Opening that bank app could just thinking about, especially when you've been spending a lot of money recently and you're doing the math in your head, but even the math in your head is giving you anxiety, so you choose not to even do the math in your head. And you know you should open this bank app to at least know your financial situation, to know the truth or the reality of your situation. But then you're anxious about what you would find. So you end up not opening that app. So you postpone that action. And now you can see how that anxiety made you postpone that action. And you postponing that action gives you more anxiety of what you could meet when you eventually open that app. And then that anxiety causes you to postpone that action even further. And then it's like a feedback loop. Over and over and over and over again. And even though that's just more of a trivial example, that could be garnered on a larger scale. So that's even a way someone could even find valid reasons to themselves on why they're pushing things back or procrastinating on certain things. But at the end of the day, we have to put in something to get something out in life. Something has to go in to come out. There has to be an input to be an output. There are certain things that, especially when it comes to the future, especially when it comes to the things that we need to do for advancement, for life advancement, whether advancement in career or finance or whatever, or relationship, whatever, in advancement, in living, in purposeful living, in gainful living, especially when it comes to things like that. The brilliant songwriter by Oyetunde Omolade, that's her name, brilliant songwriter. She said, adulthood na scam. You better get am for your mind. You got to hustle, make a living 247. Nobody go ask you if you don't chop. Nobody go send you free money. If you no get time, na you sabi. Adulthood na scam. Profound words, brilliant words. And I read these lyrics and I chuckle to myself every time I read it because it starts with adulthood not scam, but then proceeds to list out everything that adulthood actually is. So then maybe adulthood actually isn't a scam. Maybe adulthood is our perception of adulthood that's a scam at the end of the day. Maybe by virtue of whatever lies may have been sold to us, maybe perceptions that we just garnered in our head and decided to run with. Maybe it's the people that raised us that didn't teach us the truth about life, that didn't teach us that didn't deliberately impart us with life skills that adequately reflect what life as an adult is. Because when I think of adulthood, one really, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's an age thing. I wouldn't even say, yeah, adulthood does come with experience, but even that is subjective. But one, what adulthood just really sums up to me is responsibility, and every line in this lyric is responsibility. Responsibility for yourself, responsibility for your life, for the things that pertain to you. Adulthood is not a scam. Adulthood is our perception of adulthood that's a scam. That's a facade. We have allowed ourselves paint this picture for whatever reasons, whatever caused this. We've painted this picture in our head of what adulthood should be. And then we walk into it, and then when the reality of what responsibility is hits us, some of us who may not have been ready for it, we don't know how to cope. We don't know what to do. And then when the slightest responsibilities fall into our lap, we falter and then we push it back and we keep pushing it back. And when you think about it objectively, it makes no sense. Objectively thinking, it makes no sense. I mean, and I understand it. Trust me, I understand it. Like I said, I've gone through procrastination myself. And even going on the list I mentioned in a few moments ago, these are all valid, understandable causes for procrastination. Valid, understandable. By the end of the day, we have to do our shit. We have to do what we have to do. We have to, I mean, if not now, then when? If not now, then when? If we don't do it, who will do it? This is me even talking to myself, reminding myself, because man, there's so many, especially for some of us. I mean, it's one thing if you have a lack of motivation, which you still need help with. It's one thing if you have no goals. And when I say lack of motivation, I mean there's nothing motivating you. There's nothing you're working towards. There's nothing there isn't a finish line that you may be aspiring to get to. But especially if you have a finish line that you're aspiring to get to, it's common sense to do the things we have to do to get there. And for those of us who aren't aspiring to get to places, what can they even do? I guess talk to someone. I guess talk to someone, to be honest. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. If you haven't talk to me. I guess the point of this video is to encourage someone. Because if you notice, I haven't really approached this with optimal sensitivity. I haven't really, because even in me thinking about this, even in moments where in me even challenging my own procrastination, I try not to give myself the laxity of comfort or sensitivity. Mostly because mostly because I know that it won't be to my detriment. But at the end of the day, we need to do the stuff we need to do, man. We need to do the shit we need to do. We need to get up and do what we have to do. The plans we have, we need to accomplish them by doing certain things we need to do. It's one thing if we need help, but even we need to recognize that we need help. and we need to seek out that help. Let's get off our butts and do what we need to do. That email you need to send it. That job you need to apply for, apply. The resume you need to do. The Uber you need to drive. The podcast you need to start. The paper you need to write. Please write. If you don't write it, you get an F. Man. And I get it. I've struggled with procrastination myself, like I've said. Probably everything I have just mentioned could apply to me. Every example I literally just gave could apply to me. And I could see how I literally gave myself reasons. Every single, even looking at the list I gave. Okay, let's say, for example, writing the paper. You could, one of the causes of procrastination could be optimism and pessimism. Optimism in the sense that you could be optimistic in how little effort it could take to write this paper. So it doesn't have to be that you're lazy. You get what I'm saying? Procrastination doesn't have to be because you're lazy. Procrastination could be anything. It could be because you're overestimating how little effort you need to put into this paper. You're keeping it till last minute. You're postponing it till next week. You feel me? Or even this podcast, for instance. I literally postponed that last episode for possibly weeks. For reasons I could have given myself. For reasons that I could have even found valid. All it really took was for me to put effort into setting up, put effort into constructing how I want it to be, sit down. You know what? That's what it was. That's what was even fostering my procrastination. Me planning, me putting things together, me generating ideas. But ideas were just staying in my head, and that's what ideas do. They just stay in your head. And if you don't do them, they have no substance. You get what I'm saying? So procrastination could be anything. So like I said, the point of this video, I guess, is to challenge somebody. Let's be responsible. Let's take responsibility. Take responsibility of your life. Korede, Otnba, take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for your life. Do the things you have to do. You only put in to get out. You can't get stuff out that you didn't put in. If you're looking to get stuff out that you didn't put in, you're a thief. Or just wishful thinking. So either one of the two, I guess. So let's get on task with the things we need to do. Because if not now, then when? If not now, then when? All right, y'all. Thank you. I hope someone has been challenged. I hope someone has been encouraged. I hope someone has been challenged to get up. Has been challenged to type that paper. Has been challenged to call that person, possibly. Has been challenged to just take responsibility and do the things we need to do. Has been trying to give our life meaning, give our life direction. And I thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This was the challenge for me. This was me challenging myself. Wow, dang. I'll probably listen back and hopefully I don't shed tears. Oh boy. But yeah, thank you guys, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like. You can turn on post notifications. You can share. If you're watching on Spotify or other podcast streaming platforms, you can follow. I don't know what call to action exists on each one, but you get the point. You can do the needful. And as always, I appreciate you guys, man. And I'll see you guys next week. And if you guys want me to talk about anything, you can just put it in the comments. You can put it in the comments on YouTube. You can put it in the comments on Instagram. And just like I've been doing, just like I did last week, just like I obviously did this week, I am very interested in reading the comments and gathering my thoughts from the comments. Because if anything, I would love to talk about things that we're all interested in. I love to talk about things that we would like to hear and that would directly impact us, you feel me? And me and myself. So yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Peace.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to No Table Talk.